Welcome back. Today, we're talking about Gordon Freeman. If you enjoy lore videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Gordon Freeman grew up in Seattle, Washington, a kid fascinated not by sports or video games, but by the fundamental mysteries of the universe. While other children played outside, young Gordon built a butane-powered tennis ball cannon at age 6. His heroes were Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and Richard Feynman, minds that dared to peer into the fabric of reality itself. This wasn't just childhood curiosity, it was obsession. Gordon devoured quantum mechanics and relativity theory with a hunger that would shape his entire future. When he traveled to the University of Innsbruck in 1997 and witnessed cutting-edge teleportation experiments, something ignited inside him. The ability to bend space and move matter across dimensions became his singular focus. He earned his way to MIT, where he threw himself into theoretical physics with relentless intensity. His doctoral thesis bore an impossibly dense title about quantum entanglement and teleportation through radioactive crystals, but it boiled down to one revolutionary idea: shooting lasers through exotic materials to tear holes in space itself. At 27 years old, Gordon landed a position at the Black Mesa Research Facility in the New Mexico desert, a secretive government installation conducting experiments that pushed the boundaries of known science. His mentor, Dr. Isaac Kleiner, had recommended him personally. Gordon lived alone in dormitory room 309, his life consumed by work. He had no family, no dependents, just his research. He was assigned to the Anomalous Materials Laboratory with Level 3 clearance. Despite his brilliant mind and prestigious doctorate, his actual duties were almost mundane, pushing sample carts, operating equipment. It was grunt work for a genius. But what Gordon didn't know was that someone had been watching him all along. His administrative sponsor was listed as classified. The mysterious G-Man had plans for Gordon Freeman. May 16th, 2009 started like any other day. Gordon arrived late for work, donned his orange hazardous environment suit, and prepared for what seemed like a routine experiment. They were testing an unusual crystalline sample. What happened next was an interdimensional resonance cascade, a catastrophic chain reaction that tore open reality itself. In an instant, Gordon's world shattered. Aliens poured through dimensional rifts. The facility descended into chaos. Colleagues died screaming. Government Marines arrived not to rescue survivors, but to silence them permanently. Gordon, the quiet physicist who'd never fired a weapon in his life, grabbed a crowbar from a toolbox, and he fought. What drove Gordon through those nightmarish hours? Survival, certainly, but something more. He became forced to defend himself and the human race against an invasion he'd inadvertently helped trigger. The guilt must have been crushing. His experiment, his hands on the controls, when everything went wrong. Gordon battled through Black Mesa's blood-soaked corridors, facing horrific alien creatures and trained soldiers. He watched friends torn apart by head crabs. He dodged bullets from his own government's death squads. Yet he kept moving forward, driven by a desperate need to fix what he'd broken. The Lambda Complex scientists told him there was only one way to stop the invasion. Go to Zen, the alien border world itself, and eliminate the source. So Gordon did the unthinkable. He stepped through a portal into an alien dimension. There, he defeated the Nihilanth, the leader of the invasion force, ending the immediate threat. Exhausted, wounded, Gordon thought it was over. Then the G-Man appeared. The G-Man offered Freeman a choice: work for his mysterious employers or die on Zen, surrounded by hostile aliens without weapons. What choice did Gordon have? He accepted and was pulled into stasis, frozen outside normal time and space for nearly 2 decades. But Gordon's victory had consequences he never foresaw. The death of the Nihilanth caused massive portal storms across Earth, attracting the attention of the Combine, a transdimensional empire that conquered Earth in just 7 hours. Humanity fell. The survivors lived under brutal occupation. When Gordon finally awoke, the G-Man cryptically told him, "The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world," and commanded him to wake up and smell the ashes. Gordon emerged in City 17, a dystopian nightmare where humanity lived as cattle. But something remarkable had happened. During his long absence, he'd become a legend. Survivors called him the One Free Man, a mythical figure who'd stood against impossible odds at Black Mesa. When people saw Gordon Freeman, this quiet man with glasses and a crowbar, hope rekindled. His mere presence inspired rebellion. Gordon reunited with old friends, Dr. Kleiner, Eli Vance, and Eli's daughter Alyx, who became his closest ally in the resistance. Gordon never sought to be a hero. He never asked for this burden. But when he and Alyx accidentally triggered the destruction of Nova Prospekt Prison, it sparked a full-scale uprising. Freeman gained legendary status and sparked a rebellion, ultimately destroying the Citadel, a major Combine stronghold. The G-Man rescued him again after that victory, praising his work before returning him to stasis. Gordon's story became one of tragic cycles, awakened only to fight, to destroy, to serve purposes he didn't choose or fully understand. What makes Gordon Freeman's story truly haunting is his silence. Throughout everything, the horror, the loss, the impossible battles, Gordon never speaks. Not one word. People talk to him, plead with him, thank him, but he remains voiceless. Is it trauma? Is it the player's immersion? Or is Gordon simply a man so far beyond words that silence is his only truth? He's a theoretical physicist turned warrior, a child prodigy turned weapon, a man who wanted only to understand the universe, but instead became the instrument of its salvation, or its further destruction. The G-Man uses him, the Resistance worships him. But Gordon himself, he just keeps moving forward, crowbar in hand, doing what must be done. Gordon Freeman never asked to save the world. He never wanted to be a hero. He just wanted to understand teleportation. Instead, he became the right man in the wrong place, and that made all the difference. But the G-Man's plans hit an unexpected obstacle. At the beginning of episode 1, several purple glowing vortigaunts appeared and severed the G-Man's psychic connection to Gordon. For the first time, Gordon's mysterious overseer lost control of his puppet. Gordon awakened not in stasis, but in the rubble of City 17. Dog, Alyx's massive robot companion, pulled him from the debris. Reunited with Alyx, they faced an immediate crisis. The Citadel's core was destabilizing and would trigger a catastrophic explosion that would obliterate the entire city and surrounding countryside. The Combine didn't care. In fact, they were deliberately accelerating the reactor's destruction. They intended to overload the Citadel's reactor to send a distress message to the Combine overworld since the teleport core had been destroyed. The explosion would kill everyone in City 17, but the message would summon reinforcements. Earth's brief window of hope would slam shut forever. Gordon and Alyx descended into the heart of the failing Citadel, a towering monument to alien oppression now becoming a massive bomb. The reactor chamber pulsed with unstable energy. Gordon, the theoretical physicist, understood what he was looking at: a dark fusion reactor tearing itself apart. He used energy balls to repower containment stations, buying hours instead of minutes. While working to stabilize the core, Alyx discovered something chilling. She intercepted the Combine transmission and found a recorded message from Dr. Judith Mossman, transmitted from an Arctic facility. Mossman spoke urgently about a discovery something called the Borealis before Combine forces overran her position. What was the Borealis? Why did it matter? There was no time to investigate. The reactor wouldn't hold much longer. Gordon and Alyx fled through the Citadel's crumbling infrastructure and boarded a razor train meant for transporting stalkers, those horrific, lobotomized humans the Combine created from captured resistance fighters. The train derailed violently, and the tortured creatures awakened. Then came the underground. The duo fought through dark, deserted parking garages and tunnels, battling various zombies in a pitch-black environment. But these weren't ordinary headcrab zombies. These were zombified Combine soldiers, their bodies shambling forward while clutching primed grenades. The sight filled Alyx with a grim satisfaction. Even the Combine soldiers are getting zombified, she noted. The occupation was collapsing. City 17 was dying, and the Combine was losing its grip. Gordon blocked antlion burrows, fought through waves of undead in total darkness, and protected Alyx when she became trapped beneath debris. The HEV suit's flashlight became his lifeline, cutting narrow beams through suffocating blackness. Finally, they reached the surface and linked up with Barney Calhoun and other resistance fighters. A mass evacuation was underway. Gordon and Alyx escaped City 17 via an evacuation train as the Citadel went critical. Behind them, the Citadel exploded in a blinding flash of energy. The transmission was sent. Combine Advisor pods rocketed away from the destruction at incredible speeds, and the train carrying Gordon and Alyx, still too close to the city, was caught in the blast wave. Everything went white. When Gordon regained consciousness, he and Alyx were outside City 17, having escaped the wreckage of their train. Behind them, the ruins of the city smoldered. Above the collapsed Citadel, a massive interdimensional portal was forming a super portal that would summon the full might of the Combine Empire to crush humanity forever. The data packet Alyx had stolen wasn't just intelligence, it was survival. They had to reach White Forest, a resistance base hidden in the surrounding mountains, and deliver that information before the portal opened. They made contact with Dr. Eli Vance and Dr. Kleiner, who were relieved to hear they'd survived. But relief turned to urgency when the Vortigaunts revealed a chilling truth about the portal above City 17. As Gordon and Alyx traveled toward White Forest, Alyx was critically wounded by a hunter, one of the Combine's newer, faster killing machines. She collapsed, bleeding out. A Vortigaunt arrived just in time to stabilize her, but barely. Gordon was separated from Alyx and forced to navigate through Antlion-infested caves. These weren't the mindless drones he fought before. These were organized, territorial, protecting something precious deep underground. When Gordon reached a small resistance outpost, he found Alyx dying despite the Vortigaunt's efforts. They needed antlion larval extract to save her. Gordon had to travel deeper into the mines, encountering an antlion guardian that he was forbidden from killing for fear of spoiling the extract. So Gordon ran, sprinting through twisting tunnels, while a massive, enraged creature pursued him, its shrieks echoing off stone walls. He got the extract. The Vortigaunts healed Alyx. But during the healing ritual, something extraordinary happened. The G-Man appeared to Gordon again. He revealed that he had saved Alyx's life at Black Mesa despite objections from unnamed others. The implication was staggering. The G-Man had been manipulating events for decades, protecting Alyx for his own mysterious purposes. Before vanishing, the G-Man gave Gordon a message to relay through Alyx to her father. Prepare for unforeseen consequences. Those words, the exact phrase the administrator at Black Mesa had used before the resonance cascade. Nothing was coincidence. Everything was design. Gordon and Alyx finally reached the resistance base, a former military installation hidden in dense forests. Dr. Eli Vance embraced his daughter, tears in his eyes. They'd survived so much, but there was no time for relief. Dr. Judith Mossman's intercepted message revealed a discovery that could tip the balance of the war. The Borealis, a research vessel from Aperture Science Black Mesa's corporate rival that had vanished decades ago during teleportation experiments. The ship had been found in the Arctic and apparently contained technology so powerful it was worth fighting over. But first, they had to close the superportal. The resistance scientists had built a rocket to launch a satellite that could seal the dimensional rift, but White Forest itself was about to come under massive assault. Dropships carrying Striders were spotted heading toward White Forest, and Gordon was volunteered for defense, Doctor. Magnuson, the same scientist whose casserole Gordon had accidentally destroyed in the microwave at Black Mesa decades ago, handed Gordon a new weapon, Magnuson devices, sticky bombs, specifically designed to destroy Striders. Gordon would use the gravity gun to attach them to the massive tripods, then detonate them with gunfire. What followed was chaos. Over a dozen Striders, escorted by hunters, assaulted the base. Gordon raced across the battlefield in his modified muscle car, using teleportation hubs to resupply with Magnuson devices. Each Strider fell in spectacular explosions, but more kept coming. The resistance fighters cheered Gordon's name over the PA system. The rocket launched successfully. The portal was closed, trapping all remaining Combine forces on Earth. They'd won. Humanity had breathing room. The Combine reinforcements were blocked. Gordon, Alyx, and Eli prepared to leave for the Arctic to investigate the Borealis. Eli warned Gordon about the ship's cargo. Whatever Aperture Science had created was clearly dangerous. But as they headed to the hangar, Eli paused, looking concerned. Then it happened. 2 Combine advisors materialized in the hangar. Massive, grotesque, slug-like creatures that served as the Combine's leadership caste. They telekinetically pinned Gordon, Alyx, and Eli against the walls, helpless. One advisor moved toward Eli. Eli was killed by an advisor before Dog could chase the advisors away. Gordon could only watch, paralyzed, as the man who'd been a mentor, a friend, a father figure to the entire resistance died in front of him. Alyx collapsed over her father's body, sobbing uncontrollably. Gordon Freeman, the man who destroyed the Nihilanthe, sparked a revolution, toppled the Citadel, and saved White Forest, couldn't save the one man who'd believed in him from the very beginning. The episode ended with Gordon kneeling beside Alyx as she wept. The Combine now potentially knew everything about the Resistance, about the Borealis, through Eli's extracted memories. And somewhere, watching from the shadows, the G-Man observed it all. This is Gordon Freeman's tragedy. He saves everyone except those closest to him. He's a weapon wielded by forces he doesn't understand, moved across the board by the G-Man's inscrutable game. His silence isn't just a gameplay choice. It's the profound loneliness of a man who's seen too much, lost too much, and can't even speak the names of the dead. From a curious child building tennis ball cannons to a legendary resistance fighter standing over the body of his friend, Gordon's life has been one continuous descent into darkness, punctuated by moments of desperate hope. He wanted to understand teleportation. Instead, he became the instrument of Earth's liberation and its continued suffering. The Vortigaunts call him the Freeman, the opener of the way. But what way has he opened? Freedom from the Nihilanthe led directly to the Combine invasion. Freedom from the Citadel led to Eli's death. Every victory births a new horror. And still, Gordon picks up his crowbar. Still, he pushes forward, because that's all he knows how to do. The story isn't finished. The Borealis waits in the Arctic ice. The G-Man's plans continue to unfold. Alyx is lost to grief. And Gordon Freeman, the silent protagonist, the theoretical physicist turned savior, stands ready for whatever nightmare comes next. Because he is, after all, the right man in the wrong place. But Gordon Freeman's story doesn't end at White Forest. 5 years earlier, or perhaps 5 years later, depending on how you look at time, another story was unfolding. A younger Alyx Vance was fighting the Combine occupation in City 17 when she learned about a mysterious structure floating above the city, the Vault. The Resistance believed the Combine were storing a super weapon there that could help them reclaim Earth Alyx, and her ally Russell excitedly assumed Gordon Freeman was imprisoned in the Vault held captive since his disappearance after Black Mesa. Alyx fought her way through Combine forces, navigated impossible architecture, and finally breached the Vault's inner sanctum. She opened what should have been Gordon's cell. Instead, she found the G-Man. The mysterious entity thanked Alyx for freeing him from his prison, though who could imprison such a being remained unclear. The Combine, the Vortigaunts, some other force entirely? The G-Man offered her a reward for her service, and what he showed her shattered everything. Some believe the fate of our worlds is inflexible, he told Alyx. My employers disagree. They authorize me to nudge things in a particular direction from time to time. Then, he showed her the future. The tragic final moments of Half-Life 2, Episode 2, where Eli is killed by a Combine advisor, and she weeps over his body. She watched herself sobbing over her father's corpse while Gordon knelt helplessly nearby. The G-Man asked what she wanted. She said to kick the Combine off Earth. He said that was too big a task. Instead, he offered something you don't know you want and gave her the chance to change her father's fate. What choice did she have? What daughter could resist? Alyx prevented the death of her father, Eli Vance. She killed the advisor that would have murdered him. She saved him. And in that moment, she became the G-Man's new employee. The G-Man revealed to her that she was of great value and had been chosen to replace his previous hire, Gordon Freeman, who'd rebelled against him. The man who'd saved Alyx's life at Black Mesa all those years ago, who'd plucked her from the wreckage despite his employer's protests, had been grooming her all along as Gordon's replacement. The game ended much like the original Half-Life, with the G-Man walking out of the void and leaving Alyx in stasis until he needs her again. After the credits, everything shifted. Suddenly, we're seeing through Gordon Freeman's eyes again, for the first time in over a decade. But something is fundamentally wrong. Eli is alive, very much alive, cursing the G-Man's unforeseen consequences. But Alyx is gone. The hangar at White Forest looks the same, but the moment that defined everything, Eli's death, the trauma, the rage, never happened. Dog arrives, carrying Gordon's crowbar. Eli declares his intention to kill the G-Man and hands Freeman his crowbar, saying, "Come on, Gordon, we've got work to do." Gordon grabs the weapon. He feels its familiar weight, and the screen fades to white. What must this feel like for Gordon Freeman, to wake up and discover that reality has been rewritten, that the man he watched die is alive, but the woman who fought beside him, who he'd rescued from certain death, whose life was weaved with his in a Vortigaunt ritual, has vanished into the G-Man's service? Gordon knows what that service means. He's lived it. Decades of stasis, awakened only to fight battles for employers he doesn't understand, serving purposes he can't comprehend. And now Alyx is trapped in that same nightmare. The tragedy multiplies. The G-Man dropped Gordon from his employment when feeling he wasn't performing the tasks laid out for him, and ended up being replaced by Alyx Vance. But what had Gordon done wrong? He destroyed the Nihilanth, destroyed Nova Prospekt and the Citadel, stopped the base from getting destroyed by the Combine, and helped close the superportal. The Vortigaunts had interfered. They'd severed the G-Man's connection to Gordon in episode 1, giving him brief moments of actual freedom. Was that Gordon's rebellion? Simply accepting help from beings who wanted to break the G-Man's chains? Or was it something deeper? Had Gordon, in his silence, found ways to resist, to serve the letter of the G-Man's commands, while subverting their spirit? We'll never know. Gordon doesn't speak to explain himself. At age 6, he built a tennis ball cannon. At 27, he triggered an interdimensional catastrophe. He saved Earth from the Nihilanth, which attracted the Combine. He destroyed the Citadel, which killed hundreds of thousands when City 17 exploded. He closed the superportal, which trapped Combine forces on Earth, but also ensured the war would continue indefinitely. He stood beside Alyx as her father died, then woke to find that death unmade, but Alyx gone in his place. Every victory births a new tragedy. Every solution creates a worse problem. Gordon Freeman is a weapon that destroys everything it touches, including the people he cares about most. The theoretical physicist who wanted only to understand teleportation has become something far more complex. A pawn who became a king, who became a pawn again. A hero who inspired revolutions he didn't seek. A savior whose silence might be the only honest response to a universe this cruel and chaotic. Somewhere, Alyx Vance floats in stasis outside time, watching the G-Man's briefcase swing back and forth as she did when he saved her life as a child. She's become what Gordon was, the right person in the wrong place, hired to make all the difference. And Gordon? He's free of the G-Man's direct control, but not free of the consequences. Eli wants revenge against a being who can stop time, who can rewrite reality, who serves employers powerful enough to conquer entire dimensions. They're gonna hunt the G-Man. They're gonna rescue Alyx. It's impossible, of course, but everything Gordon has accomplished was impossible. Defeating the Combine invasion force at Black Mesa was impossible. Sparking the uprising in City 17 was impossible. Destroying the Citadel was impossible. Surviving any of it was impossible. Yet Gordon endures, silent, unbreaking, crowbar in hand. The Borealis still waits in the Arctic ice, Aperture Science's lost ship, carrying technology dangerous enough to change everything. The Combine still occupy Earth, weakened but adapting. The Resistance still looks to Gordon Freeman, their silent messiah, to lead them to salvation. And deep in the spaces between dimensions, the G-Man watches, always watching, planning moves in a game Gordon can't even see, let alone understand. And that was the story of Gordon Freeman, a scientist turned symbol of resistance, trapped between worlds and forces far beyond human control. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Half-Life lore, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more full story videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.